Hey, guess what, everybody? It is 2 for Tuesday right here on the Breakfast Burrito. I am DJ Yoakley, and today we have my partner in crime. As always, his name is he is the man in the van down by the river, as we addressed before the show. He is the man, the myth, the legend. He is Tommy Pease. Tommy, how are you?
I'm good, DJ. I'm all right.
Welcome back.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Good to be back.
Would you like to do the intro for our, I guess he's not really a guest anymore. I think he's just more of a remote host, I guess is the way you'd put it.
Sure. Yeah, I can throw together a little promo here, I guess.
Turn it on, son.
He is legendary. He is an animal.
Woo.
He squeaks.
Woo.
He is
Woo.
the one, the only Squeaky Bandito.
Squeaky Bandito.
I am so glad you called me a legend like the Briscoe's Body Shop. I can't remember the phone number. I just watched it the other day, but I can't remember the phone number. It was like 813-744. I can't remember the rest of it. But
Broadcasting live from the moon, it is the Squeaky Bandito.
No better place.
Hey, guys, to kick off the show, we have some good news from local players here in local schools. Izzy Perez of Lisbon, Caleb Maslowski of Columbiana, Maddie Durkin of South Range, and Danny Vuletich of South Range, all named to the All-Ohio team. Pretty cool opportunity. All four, obviously, YSN schools. We're proud to have them. The coverage, well, not so much for Lisbon, but we will be covering them moving forward. So we do apologize to the Blue Devils over there. But with that contract set in place, we're ready to go. But, I mean, you talk about sophomore guard Izzy Perez of Lisbon, sophomore guard Caleb Maslowski of Columbiana, their third-team honors in the All-Ohio. And then you have the two South Range, basically the twin killers, Maddie Durkin and Danny Vuletich, both sky high. So my thing is, looking at this on paper, if they were able to create a team, they might be undefeated. Like they could, with the two guards like that and two forwards, all they would need is I guess a big or another strong, forward. And you're looking at a team that could probably go undefeated in the state of Ohio. That's pretty good. And that's a lot of local talent here around this place. So, I mean, you look at Izzy,
all with about 15 miles within each other.
That doesn't happen very often, right?
Right.
I mean, you look at Izzy. She led the team in scoring with 15.8 points per game, 5 steals per game, 4 assists per game. She also had over 4 rebounds per game. She's a guard. And then you move on to Caleb Maslowski, claimed 13 honors, like we said. The Clippers ended up 21-3. Maslowski averaged 21 points a game with 6 steals, 4 assists, 3 rebounds, while shooting 51% from the field on average. You want to know what that's called? Lights
balling.
Balling. Balling on a budget. I mean, she is just balling lights out. And then you have Maddie Durkin and Danny Vuletich. Oh, by the way, she's a freshman. Durkin, the Raiders went 21-5 on the year. Durkin led the team in scoring for a second straight year, averaged 12.7 points, along with 6.5 rebounds, 2 steals, and an assist and a half per game. Danny Vuletich was the Raiders' leading rebounder with 9.8 per game. She also averaged almost 12 points a game and 1 steal. So here's what they don't know, and I got this from covering the Raiders. Danny Vuletich broke all kinds of records this year for South Range. She broke the single game rebound record twice in a year, which is incredible. She put the team on her back, and the way what's interesting about this is the way the Raiders work is Maddie Durkin I say only loosely averaged 12.5 points a game, but she was a key contributor all the way around. The Raiders are so strong, or were so strong this year, that it was almost like any given Sunday, because any player could give up, would step up on any given day. And that's kind of how you want your team to be built. Kayla Maslowski is the same way, and I believe Izzy Perez is the same way. They can hurt you in more ways than one. So to have 4 very high caliber players in such a close vicinity is almost an anomaly. Would you guys agree with that? Have you ever seen something like this before?
Not that I can remember in the recent times here, but yeah, I mean, I think it speaks volume for, and I know Anthony Hartwig will be happy about this, but it speaks volume for the growth of girls sports and the level of talent that we have in the local area within the girls sports, realm, or whatever they're playing. It's special, especially when you look at, like you said, a freshman, a sophomore. I mean, it's like, wow, these girls they're balling and they're getting rewarded for it. So hats off to all those girls.
Yeah, huge congratulations to them. Squeaks, what do you got to say about these 4 unbelievable pieces of talent?
I haven't seen that in this area in a while. I'm sure it happens in other areas, like where there's big population. I'm sure that happens, but I haven't seen it here. I also wonder if Hartman can confirm this one. I wonder if Maddie Durkin was related to DJ Durkin.
The quarterback from Ursuline?
DJ Durkin, no, the head coach at the University of Maryland.
Oh, I don't know. There might be.
He's a Boardman kid.
Well, then there's a good, strong possibility. There's a strong possibility. She's actually writing a story for us for YSNLive.com. She's going to do kind of a senior perspective story similar to Players Tribune. So that might be one of the things I can ask her for you and get back to you. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Good connection though, my friend. All right, boys. Hey, we are going to retire one of the most special numbers in the history of numbers today. The number 31 is going to the rafters. Who wants to go first? Who's retiring their favorite number 31?
We'll let you take the lead on this since you were so passionate about it yesterday.
First off, 31, again, if you didn't listen to the show yesterday, 31 was my number, still is my number. And I'm going to retire the guy who made me wear 31, and that's Mike Piazza. To the rafters it goes. Mike Piazza, one of the greatest catchers of all time, in my opinion. Maybe not defensively sound, but offensively he was a stud. So Mike Piazza, hats off to you, and you had a hell of a press conference yesterday, going WWE style and breaking a table for your soccer team. So Mike Piazza, 31 to the rafters.
Am I up?
You're up.
He's one of the most electrifying shooters of all time. Had many magical moments in his run in the NBA, and he wore the number 31 today in P's gym. We are going to hang the jersey and retire number 31 in honor of Indiana Pacer Reggie Miller.
Ugh, gross.
Gross?
I hate
Why?
I do not like Reggie Miller one bit.
Come on.
Never liked him. He's a disgrace to the number.
Stroking and choking constantly.
Stroking and choking.
Well, we just went from
that.
PG to PG-13.
He did that. He did it.
He stroked it. He stroked the threes, and he choked in big moments, I guess.
Well,
he threw the choke sign up.
He choked the Spike Lee and did something else. But
what do you got, Bandito?
this was a hard decision for me because I had a couple good candidates here, but I'm going to go with, we talked about it last week. I'm going to go with Olympic gold medalist and voted by NHL players as the hardest goalie to score on currently, Mr. Carey Price of the Montreal Canadiens.
Wow. What are you playing with an air hose or what are you doing over there?
I don't know. What am I doing?
Doesn't it sound like there's an air hose?
It sounds something.
The heater's on. The heater's on.
It's the noisy bandito.
The noisy bandito. Oh, guys. Hey, well, the rafters are hung for the day. If you have a number 31 you want to retire, I mean, there's a lot of people to talk. And I can guarantee you, Hartwig, I know you're out there. I know you're going to send Priest Holmes or somebody our way from Kansas City. Yeah, if you got a 31 you want to hang in the rafters of the YSN gym, please let us know. So, guys, a lot of action yesterday in the NFL free agency. And one of the people that we talked about at length yesterday, a little bit, one of your wish list guys, Mr. Bandito, was the one and the only Sammy Watkins, who ends up this morning in Kansas City. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, Heartland's got to be excited, I'll tell you. I like the move for him. It makes sense for him. I want to hear what you two have to say before I say anything.
All right, Peasy, you're up.
Well, here's my take on it. I mean, of course, Kansas City is an organization. They're all in on Patrick Mahomes, their rookie quarterback from last year who sat behind Alex Smith. And late in the season, we got a little dose of Mahomes and to see what he has to do. And the one thing that he does, I mean, not only is he just a phenomenal athletic talent that in Mahomes, he has an absolute rifle. And one of his attributes coming out of college was that he could throw the deep ball, and he could really throw the deep ball. So to offset, to make it work for Kansas City, they had to go out and get somebody who can stretch the field. And Sammy Watkins is the best available option as far as stretching the field available in the free agent market. So they went out and grabbed him. This is going to do big things for their offense. I think it's going to help Mahomes in his second year to really get comfortable. And also it's going to open up the running game, because with a big arm quarterback like Mahomes and a field stretcher like Watkins, it's going to make things a lot easier for Kareem Hunt. It's going to make a lot of things easier for Andy Reid in setting up that offense, which, as we know, was good last year with Alex Smith, who really is more of a game manager and a quarterback that doesn't make mistakes than he is a game breaker. So I'm excited for the Chiefs, and I think it's a good match. And I think with what everybody expected out of Sammy Watkins last year in LA, definitely a major letdown. I feel like this year is definitely looking like it's going to be a bounce back for Sammy Watkins, and Patrick Mahomes is going to benefit from that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that Sammy Watkins kind of saw the writing on the wall, and you got to feel for the Rams a little bit. You gave him up a second-round pick for this guy, had him for half a season, made it to the playoffs ultimately, but weren't able to get to the big game. So the Chiefs looking to swoop up on this deal, looking to shore up some receivers for their young quarterback, like you said, and they get one of the premier quarterback or running. Geez, oh man, it is Tuesday. They get one of the premier wide receivers available in Sammy Watkins. So I think they know what they're going after, and they went for it. So this is one of those things. It's a 3-year deal, reportedly. So he's going to be around for a little bit, and this might be where you remember Sammy Watkins for playing football when it's all said and done. You might, very rarely unless you're a jersey collector, I think, are you going to remember Sammy Watkins with the LA Rams. But I think that he's got the potential to really break out and be an offensive juggernaut with the Kansas City Chiefs.
But here's where I question it. You got Kareem Hunt running back. You got Travis Kelce at tight end. You got him now. You got Tyreek Hill on the other side. And you got a second-year quarterback that's played that essentially has not played. Correct?
Correct.
Who's going to call plays for it, because Andy Reid's not known as a great play caller?
Well, I guess, when you look at it from that perspective, they're not too far away from being the Cleveland Browns.
No, they have more talent than the Browns. A college team has more talent than the Browns.
Well,
or they did.
Tit for tat. You put these two teams on two grease boards. When you say what you just said, I'm leaning towards these guys have either as much potential or as little potential as the Browns. Let's match it up. Travis Kelce.
Mahomes is the real deal.
Oh, I'm with you. But now the Browns have Tyrod Taylor, which similar, maybe not the arm strength, but you have a lot of similarities between this Kansas City Chiefs team and the Cleveland Browns have built in the last week. I mean, you've got a deep ball threat, Josh Gordon, Sammy Watkins. You've got an underneath threat in Hill who can take the ball and run it, Jarvis Landry for the Browns. You've got a great tight end, Travis Kelce. I think the Browns have Njoku, who can be an elite tight end in the league when it's all said and done. And then you got a quarterback who's pretty mobile and he can extend plays with his legs or his arm. Tyrod Taylor, obviously, I think the lesser of the arm strengths in those, but they're very similar when you look at it on paper. Would you agree or disagree?
I agree with that, but to a certain extent, here's the difference between the two. Andy Reid's going to win games in the regular season. Always has. It's just when it comes with nut crunching time, when you got to go out and do all this stuff in the playoffs. When you saw when he was in Philadelphia, that's when he dialed back and became real conservative. And those teams never went above the next level.
Pease, what do you say?
I mean, Kansas City's way better than Cleveland. I would take Mahomes over Tyrod. I would take Kareem Hunt over any back in Cleveland. I would take Josh Gordon over any wide receiver in Kansas City. But Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce are way above. You can say Corey Coleman and David Njoku, or did Coleman leave?
Coleman's still there.
Coleman's still there. I mean, I'm sorry, Landry over Tyreek Hill over Jarvis Landry and Travis Kelce over David Njoku. So, I mean, I don't think that they're anywhere near Browns level, but at the same time,
interesting that you would take Tyreek Hill over Jarvis Landry. Is there any particular reason?
I just feel like Tyreek Hill he's a game breaker. I mean, Jarvis Landry is a possession receiver. Tyreek Hill can break a game wide open at any time. Right. So that's why, for me, Tyreek Hill over Jarvis Landry all day.
Also remember one other thing with this too. Kansas City's also going to have a reworked defense too on top of this because they're getting rid of a lot of those guys too.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that because they're getting rid of safety Ron Parker and Tamba Hali. Hali he's been a mainstay in Kansas City, and so many defenses built around him. So it'll be interesting to see where Tamba ends up. Yeah, I think he's a shadow of the player he used to be. I think
they got rid of those two. They got Dontari Poe left last year.
Yep.
They traded Marcus Peters. They're going to release Derek Johnson. They got to rework their defense.
So it'll be interesting to see what the Chiefs come up with. Some breaking news. Yeah, it is breaking news. Case Keenum about to make his case in Denver, of all places. So the Broncos go after Case Keenum. Is this the right fit? Is this what the Broncos needed to put themselves over the top?
Well, Keenum proved this year that he can win with talent around him, and Denver has talent. Will put talent around him. So it's amazing what a difference a couple years can make for Case Keenum, but I'm not sure it's the best fit for the Broncos. I think there would have been a lot better moves they could have made out there besides Keenum, but he's one of the few serviceable quarterbacks that are available still. And did he sign? I know he was leaning towards them. Is it official that he signed?
Tomorrow.
Sign. Yep. He intends to sign with the Broncos. So unless something goes completely wrong, it's going to be a Case Keenum quarterback club in Mile High. which is interesting to me because they hold a pretty high draft pick. And as deep as this draft is with quarterbacks, they go after a veteran quarterback in Case Keenum, which to me, yes, Case Keenum he's a great game manager, but you already had one of those, two of them really, in Trevor Siemian, right?
Yes.
Correct.
I think Siemian and Keenum are very close to the same player. Keenum
what pick does the Broncos have?
Do they have? I thought they had like 5. I know it's top 10.
They have the 5.
5 pick. Yeah, so
5.
they're right behind Cleveland at 4.
So Josh Allen could be, because a lot of people say he's the most talented, but maybe not ready yet. So maybe that's a sign that they're going to roll with Keenum, draft Josh Allen.
But are they going to do that again? They did it with Paxton Lynch. They moved up to take Paxton Lynch. And Paxton Lynch, a lot of people had him being, he was the strongest arm quarterback in the draft. He had the best IQ, things of that nature. And look at him now. Paxton Lynch is a guy that I still think can translate to the NFL. In fact, I would love to see if the Steelers don't do anything from a quarterback standpoint, which I don't expect them to, maybe make a move to go get Paxton Lynch. Give up a 6th-round pick to go get a Paxton Lynch, because a couple of years under Ben Roethlisberger, and you never know what that guy turns into.
They're at 5, right?
They're at 5, I believe.
Okay. This sounds like Buffalo Bill time. Trade down, get some linemen to protect this guy so the Bills can do what we think the Bills are going to do.
You think that's going to happen?
I think that's the last place he needs to be, but hey, whatever. Where he goes, right?
I love it. All right, so I mean,
I do got breaking though. I did just see this.
Okay.
Another free agent quarterback off the market.
Who?
Drew Brees.
New Orleans?
Yep.
See, I saw that Minnesota was it Minnesota maybe that made a pass at Drew Brees, and I thought that was interesting.
2 years.
That was a formality. I knew that was going to happen. They're not going to let.
Yeah.
But now they have a chance to either take a quarterback this year or next year and use Drew Brees as a tutor, as your number 1 quarterback, but also as a tutor for the next coming of the Nollins quarterback. If you're the Saints, do you take a quarterback this year?
No, maybe next year. Brees' last year. If he signed a 2-year contract, the following year is going to be his last year in the NFL.
I believe you. Yeah, I believe you're right. I don't know
so
if
you can
saw. Yeah.
Try to stack up whatever you need to make a run, and then next year, if the cards fall right, go ahead and grab a quarterback to go under Brees for the year and see what happens. But I don't see them drafting a quarterback now.
I know this is. Go ahead.
If they do it, they have to do it in the first round. They don't have a 2nd-round pick.
You mean if they want to draft a quarterback?
Yes.
I mean, they could always draft. Yeah, I'm with you. But they could be one of those teams that if the Broncos decide they're going to move out of that, the Saints could move up. You give up your 1st-round pick and a 3rd-round pick, and you get the 5th-round pick. That's usually how the deal works. So it's going to be interesting. If you really think the Broncos are going to move down after picking Case Keenum, it's I mean, the world is their oyster at this point. If they already got their quarterback, but if Tommy's right, and I tend to I don't know what they're in an interesting situation. I mean, you sign it depending on how long the deal is. And I can imagine if Case Keenum's signing a deal with the Broncos, it's not going to be a 2-year deal. You're looking at least 3, maybe 4 years. So he's locked up, especially if he's signing this early, signing so quickly. You got to think it's a pretty significant deal. Would you agree or disagree?
Oh, he's going to get paid. There's no doubt about it.
Like, I'm going to be shocked if this is a 2-year deal. Unless the number is staggering.
It's going to be hefty.
Let's look at some of the other opportunities here in the NFL. We saw it was Allen Robinson, the guy that probably, to me, he's one of the top receivers on the board in free agency, and he picks Chicago. Mitch Trubisky, have at it, young man. You're finally getting a top-tier wide receiver in Allen Robinson. What's your guys' take on this pickup for the Bears?
I'll be honest with you. I don't think that the Bears wide receiving corp was that bad before the Robinson signing, as long as everybody stays healthy. I mean, Robinson comes in and bounces back from the injury-plagued 2017 season to where he was previously. He was, he was a top 5 wide receiver in years past. So if he can bounce back and be that guy, and then you throw in Cam Meredith and a healthy Kevin White into the mix, Trubisky has probably one of the best total, all-around receiving cores in the NFL. So, I mean, I like the signing. I mean, Robinson was the best receiver on the board, in my opinion, way better than Sammy Watkins. But it seems that the Bears feel that Trubisky can get it done, and they're surrounding him with some really good talent in wide receivers. So it'll be interesting.
Bandito.
I kind of like it. I'd love to see Kevin White healthy. I'd love to see what happens. I'd love to see if Trubisky can get it done. I always said that I thought Trubisky didn't do himself any favors because I don't think he should have been in the NFL last year. Even though he was the number 2 pick overall, I don't think he should have been in the NFL. I think he should have been in North Carolina. He wasn't ready for the NFL. I think it showed a little bit last year too with him. But there's a new coach there, guy with a Arena League background. They're going to throw the ball.
Yeah,
pretty good tailback, young tailback.
They're going to sling it, that's for sure. And
I think our common theme that we're mentioning with all these teams adding receivers, where's their lines?
You mean like the Bears line?
Offensive, yeah. Where's their line? Where's the offensive? Where's the offensive line of the Broncos? Where's the offensive line of the Chiefs? Where's the offensive line of the Bears? Well, where's their offensive lines at?
I mean, we talked about it the other day. I'm huge into building your line and allowing. I'm not saying 5-star backs or receivers or quarterbacks, but if you can build your offensive line of 4 stars and some 5 stars, the rest of your team that surrounds that will be that much better. You're talking taking about, a 3-star quarterback and making him a 4-star or even a 4.5-star quarterback behind a good offensive line. You talk about Zeke Elliott. He inherited that huge offensive line in Dallas, and you've seen what he's done with his career. Le'Veon Bell is in the same situation. I mean, all these great running backs, all these great receivers are a product of great linemen. And let's give the quarterback some credit, too. I mean, Ben Roethlisberger is no slouch. Dak Prescott, I think, can win games. But, yeah, I think the line is the most important part. And they often get overlooked except for the left tackle.
It all starts up front in the NFL. No way around it.
And that's where it ends, too, Because if you don't have a lineman, or if you've got a bunch of guys that are injured on your offensive line, we've seen it in Green Bay. We're starting to see it a little bit in New England. It's where it starts and finishes. Tommy's right. Any other breaking news? I'm trying to take a quick glance here for some real-time updates. Albert Wilson intends to sign with the Dolphins. Lions signing Tavon Wilson, his safety. Star, oh man, I don't even want to try this. Latulele, the 14th overall selection in 2013, is going to sign with the Bills. Sammy Watkins, we already went over with the Chiefs. They also will pick up Anthony Hitchens. So that's a pretty good deal for them. They're starting to reestablish that defense like you talked about, Bandito. And then we have all the ones that we talked about. One of the ones that kind of went through the cracks yesterday was cornerback or defensive back. Brent Grimes stays with the Bucs, and Cameron Brate also extended by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, this may be one of those ordinary ha's whenever you have like Sammy Watkins and guys like that. But that's a huge deal down in Tampa Bay because they have two star tight ends, in my opinion, that famous Jameis can throw to.
O.J. Howard.
Yeah, I love OJ. Love OJ. I think he's one of the.
He'll have a breakout year.
I think he's gearing up for it.
He's an athletic freak.
How about the Dolphins dropping Sue? It's going to be interesting. They're talking about a change of culture down in Miami, and Sue was one of their top signings just a few years ago.
He never lived up to the hype. I didn't think so in Miami.
No.
Cardinals to release Adrian Peterson. Will All Day end up somewhere else, or will he call it a career?
I think he still loves football. I think he still wants to play football, so he's going to play somewhere. I mean, in the short stint he had in Arizona last year, he did a nice job. I mean, there was times where he looked like AP of old, but when you got David Johnson coming back healthy, I mean, there's no room for Adrian Peterson.
They're thinking he might still be there.
You think he's going to come back? He's re-signed?
Yeah, they're getting rid of him because of a salary issue.
It says he would be owed $750,000 bonus on Friday if he's still with the team. So, listen, as much as I love DJ out in Arizona, if he goes down again, you are subject. I mean, you're talking being a playoff team to being a team that is drafted in the top 10 in the league.
I'm not sure AP wants to be a backup, though. But he might have to accept that this late in his career.
Yeah, we saw how it went in New Orleans. He did not like that one iota, but I think he was promised a little bit more than what he received from Sean Payton. Yeah,
but I don't think Payton or anybody in New Orleans thought that Kamara would have such an impact right away like he did. And early in the season, he hit the ground running, and there was just no touches for Peterson. So, that was frustrating to AP, but, he didn't get the ball in New Orleans, and that whole thing went awry because of Alvin Kamara. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to talk about, and it's only going to get better, boys. And I understand it's a Tuesday episode, and there's not a whole lot to talk about, but let's get excited about some of this stuff. Did anybody catch not that I watched Stephen Colbert, but did anybody catch the clip of Stephen Colbert and Tom Brady last night?
I actually watched it this morning. Brady drank that beer in like one drink.
Is there anything this guy is not good at?
Oh, he's a winner. Tom Brady is a winner.
It is so frustrating. I mean, everybody's got one of those friends, right? That's just good at everything. Like, they have all the luck, they have all the talent, they have all the brains. Why the heck did Tom Brady is that guy? Like, we all have a Tom Brady in our life somewhere. Does it annoy you that he's that good at everything?
No. So I'm good at everything, so.
Oh, you are the Tom Brady of East Liverpool.
I'm kidding.
I've sat through these before.
I'm kidding. I like Tom Brady. I'm not a Tom Brady hater. I'm a fan of Tom Brady. Don't hate me because you ain't me, right?
That's it. And the thing about it is he was so modest about it. He's like, yeah, I used to chug some beer. But inside he's like, I'm going to smoke you, Colbert, like a Cuban cigar.
Oh, he was excited because then the competition Tom Brady kicked in.
Well, do you think that he shorted some of his circuits with that beer, being that he's a freaking robot, or what?
I actually, in the article that I read this morning that had that showed the video of Colbert, it talked about the TB12 diet. Have you heard about that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Listen, the TB12 diet is the exact opposite of the TP2 diet. I mean, everything in the article that Tom Brady doesn't eat is exactly what I eat on a daily basis. So,
all right, let's go. Now that you opened up that can of worms, what's the TP2 diet consist of?
Well,
Arby's. No,
yeah.
Wendy's.
Tim Hortons.
It's it's everything. Hold on. Let me find this TB12 diet thing here. Eric, you go ahead and talk about this with DJ for a minute, and I'll find it. Go ahead.
Yeah, if it ain't fried, Tom, you don't want it.
Well, that's not true. That's not true. I did do a little vegetarian run from July until Thanksgiving, and then I haven't.
That guy at the party with the man bun asking if people had celery or if the burgers
I just didn't
turkey.
eat meat.
Is this a turkey burger, sir?
Turkey's still meat.
How bad did you want a steak after that, though?
So here it is. Brady avoids alcohol. He avoids bread and pasta, breakfast cereal, corn, dairy, foods that contain GMO, foods with high fructose corn syrup or trans fat, sugar, artificial sweeteners, or soy, fruit juice, grain-based foods, jams, jellies, most cooking oils, frozen dinners, salty snacks, sugary snacks, sweetened drinks, white potatoes, and prepackaged condiments like ketchup and soy sauce.
I'd be dead.
Exactly. That's the TB12 diet.
So he eats what? Like grass?
He don't need nothing in my pantry.
Can you imagine him having him over for dinner?
Well, if he came hungry, he'd leave hungry because he wouldn't eat anything.
He's that guy that brings his own dinner at the dinner table.
My wife made a homemade frozen lasagna last night, and he wouldn't eat that.
I don't think he'd eat lasagna.
No, it's pasta.
Yeah.
And it was frozen previously. He ain't eating it.
It was frozen. It's got meat in it. It's got red sauce in it, which has sugar in it.
It was crab dip night in the Yoakley house last night with tortilla chips and pita chips.
He wouldn't eat that either.
That's what I'm saying. For stealing everybody's lunch, Tom Brady doesn't eat much.
No, I mean, look at the guy. He looks great.
I choose not to look at the guy, to be honest with you. I'm not. I appreciate that he's a winner and everything, but he drives me insane. Insane. I don't think he's going to play till he's 46. If he does, it's because somebody's going to kill him at the season of his 46th birthday.
How old is he now?
40. Maybe 41. I don't know. I know he's 40 this season. I don't know when his birthday is. I'm not going to send him a Christmas card or a birthday card.
I think he's 41.
I think he can go to hell. That's what I think. He's a winner, but I hate him just because he always beats my team. And that's a little different than what the rant I went on yesterday about being a Browns fan and anybody who plays the Steelers. Just not a fan of Tom Brady. Not a fan of his person. I'm a fan of his character he plays on TV with that 12 jersey.
He does it well. There's no doubt about it.
He does. He does do it well. What else is there? I mean, we burned through the topics today, boys. What else is going on in the sports world you guys want to chat about?
Let's talk about my personal favorite news from yesterday. Confirmation of the match at WrestleMania.
Oh boy, I knew it was coming.
Let's be honest. Buddy. Is there a bigger match that could happen than that match?
Well, yeah. If it's,
I don't think so.
I can tell you right now, if it was Hulk Hogan.
Well, if back. Hulk Hogan Stone Cold would be the only other match. But Hogan can barely walk now, so that ain't happening. But
Undertaker's not far behind him.
No.
Or be allowed on WWE TV.
Yeah, he's not allowed on WWE TV either. But leave the Hulkster alone. That's enough.
Were you excited about that match well, it's not official yet. Undertaker still has to do it, but I think we all knew it was coming.
Yeah, it's official.
It's definitely official, and I love the way they built it up yesterday. I thought Cena was great in that segment, and I think it's going to be. It could close the show at WrestleMania. I'm telling you, it could.
Well, first, I mean, they'll never let that happen. I think we all know that. Vinnie Mac is going to – I'm with you. It should. But Vinnie Mac is going to have Reigns and Lesnar close the show.
Won't happen. I'm telling you right now that's not going to happen.
You don't think?
Nope. That match will not close the show.
I believe it's closed. I mean, the championship match has closed the show for as long as I can remember.
It's not going to do it this year. If it will be a chance. There's two matches that could close the show. One, Cena Undertaker. Two, Styles Nakamura. Those are the two options. I'm telling you right now, Reigns Lesnar will not close the show at WrestleMania.
Styles Nakamura will be a mid-card match.
No way.
I think it's going to open the show.
I think they're going to lead. I think they're going to lead with the United States Championship to open the show. That's what I think they're going to do.
Rematch of Rude and Orton.
I think they're going to go three. I'm with Squeaky. I think they're going to go Rude, Orton, and Jinder Mahal.
Bobby Roode will go over.
All I'm going to say about that is wherever they decide to put Styles Nakamura, the match after it, that suck.
You got to put a women's match after that. I mean, I would put Styles Nakamura, and then right after that, I would put Charlotte and Asuka. Because I think that's the only way. It's so different that it's the only thing that could work. And the fans are going to blow their minds on that Styles match. And the match after that, it's going to be for the casual female fan, if you will.
That's why I think it's going to open the show.
You think that's going to open the show?
Yes. I honestly think the Styles match is going to open the show.
That's interesting because no other match on that. See, I don't think that's bad. That's why I think it'll close the show because I think no other match is going to live up to that match.
He's opened the show the last 2 years.
Yeah, but not against Nakamura.
He had Jericho.
You could be right.
It could still work.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they know. Listen, if it's up to Vinnie Mac, you could be right. But I think if they let Triple H have his say, you go out and you get an AJ Styles, you go out and you get a Nakamura. You've already got on tape what could be. And even if they just replicate what they already had in a match over in New Japan, you've got one of the best matches in WrestleMania history, period. Hands down. And I think they know that. And I think they I think it's a mid card. I think it needs to close the show, but I think it's a mid card. I think Tommy, if you're writing the show, I think you're dead on. I think you have to take you have Taker and John Cena close the show, but you've got to give a breather to the fans after Nakamura. So you don't want to put, them immediately following that.
That's going to end up being a retirement match too, by the way.
You think?
Oh yeah. Yep. Guaranteed.
And who puts who out?
It's the end of the Undertaker. This is it.
Are we going to have a Shawn Michaels moment where it's, I love you, I'm sorry?
Probably. Like he did with Ric Flair.
Yep. I mean, it's going to be interesting. I thought the way to go out was going to be Triple H versus The Undertaker a few years ago. Because those guys...
That's what it should have been.
Those guys went through everything together. And when they all went out together, Triple H, HBK, and The Undertaker, I thought that was it. I thought that was a great ending.
Undertaker still draws. He still draws. And Vinnie Mac's going to draw every single penny he can out of him.
Well, yeah.
The atmosphere for that, if they make the Cena Undertaker match a retirement match, the atmosphere for that match is going to be special.
Yes, if indeed it's a real retirement match, because I think we all thought last year, after the show that he put on, after the time he was given, that was it. I mean, listen, I'm an emotional guy, and I got choked up watching one of my childhood heroes walk out for what I thought was the last time. And then naturally, it's not the last time. It's pro wrestling. You never know. Your character's never dead.
Because you're never really retired.
Which is a little bit crazy, right? Because guys like us, as you age, you just go, oh, okay, well, this isn't really it. And then when it is, you're like, oh, man, that kind of sucked because that was really it. I give all credit to Ric Flair for actually retiring and never coming back to a WWE ring as a wrestler.
Yeah, he didn't come back to a WWE ring. He came back in a ring that he shouldn't have. But
the TNA.
Yeah.
But I think he was paid handsomely and needed the money at the time.
I think he still needs the money.
I thought it was a good show last night. I thought we talked a little bit before the show started. Braun Strowman versus the World.
I like it. It's different.
What do you
see what direction they go with it? Will they make him add an actual tag team partner is the question.
Who would you add with Braun Strowman?
Brooklyn Brawler.
The Brooklyn Brawler.
Any bum?
You get the idea.
You know who I would add? And this is going to catch a lot of people off guard. Heath Slater.
Because he got kids.
Give him a run, would you? The guy is one of the biggest background guys in the entire company. He eats crow all the time. He comes out, he's entertaining. And I don't want this to turn it. I mean, Braun Strowman, you got to respect him because he's built that character basically by himself. He doesn't need Bray Wyatt. He doesn't need the Wyatt family or the Brothers of Bludgeon or the Blood Brothers or whatever.
Or wrestle.
I mean, listen, if you're that big, you don't need to wrestle.
No, he's booked right. Here's how I think it should go if you put him with Slater or somebody like that. He lays him out every single time during the match.
And just does his thing.
He lays him out and throws him the belt afterwards. I don't need you.
That's actually not bad. I think that would go over. I think it would work.
It was almost like it was. Of course, I stole off what McFoley did when he was in WCW because whenever he was jobbing and he tagged the people, he usually after the match beat up his partner after they lost.
That wouldn't be bad. You know who else I think would be awesome? And Man, I used to hate this guy, but I have more respect for him than ever before. And I think it'd be perfect if at WrestleMania he is required to have a partner and outwalks Chris Jericho.
Jericho will be at WrestleMania one way or another. There's no doubt about that.
What's he gonna do?
You can't lay him out though.
No, you're not gonna lay him out. I'm saying from a different perspective. Jericho comes out, ends up the tag team champs. There's your mouth with Braun Strowman, and you can turn Braun. You keep his strength up and make him look strong and do all that. I thought the the thing was it Fastlane? No, it was the last Monday when Elias was trying to get out of the building and he held the car. I thought that was a little ridiculous. I saw that the replay last night. I thought that was the first time I seen it. I looked at my wife and I said, "You gotta be kidding me!" Like there's making him look strong in the ring, and then come on, guys, that's almost a cartoon.
Well, isn't him flipping an ambulance upside down and ripping an entire stage down and that kind of cartoonish too?
Well, the ambulance, I think we've seen the ambulance before, if I'm not mistaken. The semi-truck, I was a little bit, all right, I think we're getting carried away. But the stage, you think about it, the stage isn't that far-fetched because the stage it's just a bunch of pipes put together. And he had a grappling hook, apparently, where they keep backstage like the freaking Dark Knight. But I'll tell you what, I liked what they're doing with his character in the ring. Outside the ring, I'm not real crazy about it. I think they can do a lot more with it, but I think that he needs almost a Paul Heyman-esque person with him. And I don't want it to be Paul Heyman. I think it's a good time to get Jericho back into the fold. And I thought the feud with Jericho and with Kevin Owens was one of the best in history. I thought it was incredible because Owens is a great heel.
Yes. Now, whenever they ripped the stage down, was that their homage to Mallrats?
It could have been. It could have been.
You guys noticed Kevin Owens losing some weight, toning up a little bit?
Yeah, what's that all about?
Because he's going to be the man. I'm telling you, he's going to be the man.
Well, I think he deserves it. I really do. I like Sami Zayn, too. I did not like his character, but he's athletic as all get out, and I think he's good on the mic. I thought at Fastlane, that match, that six-pack, it wasn't tag team, six-pack challenge or whatever it was, I thought it was great. We talked about it yesterday, minus Baron Corbin. I think, he had one spot in the show where he threw Dolph Ziggler, as Pat McAfee mentioned on his show over on Barstool yesterday. He threw Dolph Ziggler further and higher than a man should ever be thrown into basically hockey boards and through the hockey boards. But other than that, Baron Corbin to me is absolutely useless.
I think he's dry. He's too dry for me.
You know what they should have done? And you guys can tell me if I'm completely off base. But they should have used Baron Corbin as the son of Kane. Similar to what they did with Jason Jordan and Kurt Angle. But I think that it would be, number one, be more believable. And number two, Baron Corbin is essentially Kane. All his moves, a little bit more athleticism. But you could have built that, and that could have been really, really good. And then you can have, Corbin versus anybody, any of the monsters. And it could go over well.
I think Corbin could be bigger if it wasn't PG.
Yeah, I don't know.
I really do, because he's got that persona.
But he doesn't have. He's not good on the mic. He's just not. He gets nervous, and you can see it in his face when he's talking. Even when the only time he's good, and WWE is doing a really good job of covering their tracks. He's good on the promos when he's by himself in the back, because they probably do 15 cuts of it.
Yeah, he's at his best when they're pre-recorded. There's no doubt about that.
You know who's I think the best on-air personality they have, and he's been underutilized for as long as I can remember, is Dolph Ziggler.
Don't get Eric started.
I love Dolph Ziggler. I know he hates him.
I'm not saying it.
But Dolph Ziggler's I think he's one of the most underrated wrestlers the WWE's ever had. He sells. He'll put people over.
He can work.
Yeah, and listen, to this day, minus a couple of the Daniel Bryan spots, when Dolph Ziggler came out and cashed in against Alberto Del Rio is one of my favorite moments and the biggest pops I've ever heard. I might as soon as the show's over, I might go turn it on, just get myself pumped up for the day.
Now here's my question for WrestleMania. Going back to that. Now, Styles and Nakamura wrestle for the WWE title, correct?
Correct.
Yes. What kind of style of match do they work? Is it a sports entertainment match or is it a strong style match? Because that's going to matter.
I firmly believe we're going to get a replay, almost carbon copy of their match in New Japan, because that's what everybody wants.
They got to let those guys just do their thing.
Yep.
Period.
They know what's going to work. They know, and they can work the crowd in the middle of the match. They know how to change things up, and they're agile enough. They can do that. It can be a high flying match. It can be, a strong style match. But I'll tell you what, it works. It works for both of them.
It can't be clean. That's the thing. It can't be clean.
Why do you say that?
There's got to be a little ruggedness to it. Like we're one spot's playing to the next spot and the next spot.
No,
match.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, I think you got to go by what the crowd's excited about that night. And a lot of it, to be honest, is going to depend on what happens before. Because, the thing about professional wrestling that people generally don't understand is it's all based off of the crowd. If the crowd is on point, if it's a Chicago crowd that knows wrestling, it's a completely different crowd than if they're in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has been for the longest time criticized for being one of the deadest houses anywhere. This is New Orleans. This is where Daniel Bryan won the championship, and Connor the Crusher was in the front row, and everybody remembers that. New Orleans is a compassionate town, and they're an emotional town, and they'll get behind it, and I think they're going to get behind this match. But WWE they got to hype it right. They've got to let these guys do their thing. And I'm glad it's not a three-way. I am super glad it's not a triple threat match.
Well, you said it yourself. They think Pittsburgh is one of the deadest houses. Well, that's because over the past 20 or 30 years, it's not the same Pittsburgh. You got to remember that it's not the same Pittsburgh. Like you said, like the Chicago show, Chicago's still got a reputation of being particularly rough town, violent on some cases, right? Like the Philadelphia crowd.
Right.
But Pittsburgh, the population's changed where Pittsburgh's become more white collar than it was blue collar when they used to run there in the 70s, 80s, when Crockett and Vince ran there.
Yeah, that's a good point. I firmly believe that Pittsburgh is just a different crowd in general. I think they're a more polite crowd than the other cities. Pittsburgh is known for here's how you know you're in Pittsburgh. You walk up to somebody, ask them, "Hey, how's it going? How you doing?" And they actually stop and they tell you, or they listen to how you're doing and how things are going.
Or you mean the guy that yells at you when you're at a baseball game, sit down during the play instead of when I was in Washington last year, then walk straight in front of you while the play's going on? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a different.
I've heard that. I've heard people yell at people in Pittsburgh, "Hey, sit down."
Because Pittsburgh is a very traditional town. It's very. It's the politeness factor, and you don't. You go a few miles down the road to Cleveland, and you got a completely different crowd. Then you go over to Chicago, you got a way different crowd. New York. I mean, it's interesting. And then you go to Los Angeles and nobody cares. You know, I think one of the big things that WWE is learning is the crowds are just as much a part of the show as their professional wrestlers, as their superstars. So that ding means that's the end of the show, boys.
It is 11 o'clock.
It is 11 o'clock, and that's a wrap on the Breakfast Burrito episode 31. Check out whose jerseys we hung in the rafters and hang some of your own. Give us a shout on Facebook, on Twitter, and let us know who your favorite 31 is of all time. Bonus points.
And don't forget about the YSNLive.com ESPN Bracket Challenge.
Yeah, do not forget. Thanks, Tommy. Do not forget about that. Check it out. The champion goes home with a brand new YSN t-shirt. The store is going to be launched at sometime in the next 2 weeks. We're excited. It's going to be YSN versus the world. It's going to be Bandito 330, and you too could have one of your favorite teams represented and rock them all day long, all week long here on YSN. Thank you guys for joining us for Thomas Pease, for Eric, the Squeaky Bandito McMahon. I am DJ Yoakley, and that is a wrap on episode 31. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody. It's a great day.
Make it yours.